So thanks to Wee Tiong and Natasha for walking us through a couple of examples. And I suppose the thing that we're going to finish with is just to think about the type of questions that we can be asking as we go along. So Natasha and Wee Tiong went through some really specific examples of questions that can be linked closely to the text. But there's also some more generic things that we can be asking in mathematics. So just to have a repertoire of these general questions can also be good to generate some discussion and thinking around mathematics. So in the first intensive, we looked at reasoning and split it into analysing, generalising and justifying. And some of the examples we looked at for good questions related to those ideas have already been shared with you. And so just to finish off, to give you a sense of some other questions that you might be using to generate interest in the text that you're reading, to really focus in on some of the mathematical concepts that you want to look at. We'd advocate for a general structure would be that you're making sure that the first thing you do is, like, the first I ask questions are around identifying the mathematics. So really making sure kids have got a sense of, well, what is the maths in the text? Making sure that you clarify that really clearly. And then that leads to asking some other questions where you might be probing their thinking, their reasoning, their justification, and then moving on to some sort of finality and some questions around that. So, where did you actually get to? So after reading it and thinking about the mathematics, what are the conclusions that you're drawing from that? So just some really basic questioning structures. I've just dug up some things on Socratic questioning, which I think are really great to use in a mathematics classroom. So some general sort of questions you can use around probing reasoning are things like, why do you think so? How do you know this? You might want to ask some questions that really probe students' thinking. What causes you to say that? Could you explain what you mean there? How does this relate to what we've been talking about? But then also making sure that we're doing some comparison work and maybe starting to probe for alternative perspectives. So what's another way we could look at this? Why do you think? Is there another example of what this could look like? How is this similar or different to what we've looked at before? So always think about some really specific questions related to the text that you're looking at, but also just have some general questions that you can use to probe different types of thinking and reasoning while you're doing your shared reading.